Hey everyone, me Kevin here. Big new updates regarding stimulus. We have finally heard from Nancy Pelosi. She just finished a press conference minutes ago, and I've got the complete details of what she said and what this means for stimulus going forward. All eyes are on Nancy Pelosi right now. All other commentary from other senators does not matter when our eyes are focused on Nancy Pelosi, because remember her letter 2 days ago. She said she is willing to go to the $908 billion proposal, but will suggest improvements. However, in the same letter, she suggested that her improvements won't be a red line, that she might just take the bill the way it is. Let's get some updates directly from her today. Let's start, though, by mentioning the jobs report, because this comes up. The unemployment rate fell to 6.7%. The economy grew, or our job market grew, by just 245,000 jobs. And unfortunately, at this pace, the Wall Street Journal says it will take until 2024 to recover, not considering the people who have completely left the job market. Okay, Nancy Pelosi spoke at her press conference, and the first thing she said is, get 4 free stocks with Webull because that's gonna end and go away, or at least so they say. And hey, look, some of our favorite stocks are going nuts. We literally just added Snowflake to the portfolio 2 days ago. It's doing very well. DocuSign, Lemonade. These are some of our long-hold favorites. Shift Technologies, Qualcomm's even up today. Ubiquity, I mean, incredible. The ones selling off, though, still are those the EVs and the movie theaters, which will create an opportunity there in the EVs. But, okay, sorry. Obviously, Nancy Pelosi didn't say that, but if you're not investing in stocks yet, think about it. And of course, get those 4 free stocks via the link down below. Deposit $100, get up to $1,600 in free stocks with a minimum of $21 for doing very little. So Nancy Pelosi told us that she spoke with Mitch McConnell yesterday. She said that this $908 billion package is not everything we want, but that we agree a package now is a start, and that Democrats will get something done now, and we hope to pass much more later. Now, this was actually a softening of a stance that we've heard from Democrats again. Not only did we hear Nancy Pelosi earlier in the week go from her $2.2 to $2.4 trillion stimulus package down to essentially $908 billion, but Nancy Pelosi said, quote, "We hope to pass much more later." This is different and a softening from the stance that Joe Biden has mentioned. Joe Biden has said, we will do much more later. We will provide $600 in unemployment relief later and direct relief to households. These are priorities that Joe Biden has set forth. Nancy Pelosi says, we hope. This is probably because Nancy Pelosi realizes we're going to be settling the balance of power in Congress on January 5th. And you can't go into an election too cocky because you might end up losing it. Nancy Pelosi mentioned one of the big pressures for passing a bill now is because state and local governments need funding for vaccine administration. It's not just a matter of distributing the vaccine, but people have to get paid to give people the actual vaccine. And that's handled by state and local governments. They need that money now. She basically says the vaccine is what made her drop her negotiation power right away and say, look, let's just get something done now so we have the money to get the vaccine out. Because ultimately, getting the vaccine out in the eyes of Congress is much more important to the economy than even a stimulus check at this point. That is what she is conveying. Now, on timing, she says this package has plenty of time to get done. This was because in questions, she was asked, how are you going to get this done by next Friday? We don't have the time. She said, we're turning this into text right now, and we cannot leave without it. We will take the time we need. We need to get the omnibus package done, and then we will include the relief. We will not leave until we get this done. When she was specifically pressed for a date, she did not give one, implying that it is possible Congress will stay past December 11th. However, quite frankly, we've heard Congress say this before. We're not going to leave until we get some money to the people, and then they leave before getting money to the people. Maybe this time will be different. Now, something else to make just also clear here is Nancy Pelosi says we have to finish negotiations on the omnibus package first. That is a collection of like 12 bills. So think of it like 12 bills stapled together, probably a very, very big staple. But think of it like 12 bills stapled together. And Nancy Pelosi says right now Democrats and Republicans are negotiating that package. And she believes that that package is the train that is leaving the station, the vehicle that's leaving the station, she says. And in order to attach relief to this omnibus package, she believes we have to finish negotiations on the omnibus package first. She says we're making a lot of bipartisan progress on that omnibus package. And once that spending bill is set, at the same time as we're writing the text, then we can take the text of the stimulus packages and hook it to the spending bill. So she expects that this would be done either potentially later next week and we could see a stimulus package complete, or they'll stay and get it done with whatever time they need. That's her suggestion. She says that right now, people need rent paid. They don't need a whole bunch of other things. This was actually a slam at honestly her own HEROES Act. She suggests, look, right now, we've got to get unemployment money to people who are unemployed, and we've got to get money for the vaccine. Those are the top priorities. Getting rent paid, by the way, also suggests rental relief, which rental relief is in the bipartisan package. $25 billion of rental relief is in the bipartisan package, and that is a game changer for preventing the eviction crisis in the real estate market. Now, that doesn't bode well for you if you're looking to buy a property next year. And that, folks, is because U.S. housing market inventory is literally at the lowest level it has ever been in since we were tracking the month supply of houses in the United States going back to 1965. We have never, ever had this few frickin' houses on the market. It's nutso. It kind of makes me feel like maybe I should sell some real estate because that's nuts. Anyway, at the same time, Mark Meadows and some Republicans are making the rounds to make sure that everyone knows that Nancy Pelosi is prioritizing, quote, cats and cannabis over COVID relief. This is because the House of Representatives is pro-passing cannabis banking acts and banning the ownership of lions and tigers. Now, in fairness to Democrats, and every time I say that, I get comments that are like, how could you say anything about Democrats is fair? I'm sorry, I'm trying to be in the middle here. Anyway, per Democrats, okay, Democrats argue you could do both at the same time. You can negotiate an omnibus spending package, and you can work on other Democratic priorities. Obviously, the optics of that from the Republican point of view are that, hey, this is a field day for us being able to make fun of Democrats. But you know what? This is really nothing more than the tables having turned, because just a month ago, Democrats were decrying Republicans for doing nothing other than confirming judges when they should be passing stimulus relief. So let's do a quick recap as to everything that we know right now about the stimulus package. This is also important because there are a lot of comments wondering, will there be retroactive unemployment? Will there be stimulus checks? What do we know? So here's what we know. We believe that there will be some form of retroactive unemployment pay. The retroactive unemployment is expected to go to at least December 1st, which is not a lot. That's relatively small. There is a possibility the retroactive unemployment will go back all the way to November 1st, but I don't think we're going to see retroactive pay. We're not going to see a big check going back to September 1st or anything super exciting. Right now, nobody's talking stimulus checks. So really, what we have is just the basics of the yellow right here, which is we've got money for small businesses. You get to take a PPP loan if you haven't had one yet. You get a second chance if your revenue has declined 25% quarter over quarter. We get the unemployment boost of $300 per week. No indication that it's going to be more than $300 per week, and no indication that we're going to get any massive retroactiveness, but probably retroactive through December. So that way, when you get sort of that renewal at the end of December, once this passes and becomes effective, it'd almost be like getting a small little check right before Christmas, because realistically, we know at this point this is all relief money. This is not stimulus money. Money for education is in here, and after all, it's smaller, but then again, half the school year is already over. So Democrats are rolling on this because they realize half the school year is already over, certainly by the time this bill will actually become effective. And then you could certainly pause on some of the other things here. But yeah, big thing right now, no word about stimulus checks, even from Nancy Pelosi. So there you have it, folks. Thank you so very much for watching this update. Really appreciate you following. And hey, we're almost at 1 million, so consider subscribing, and we'll see you very soon.